Disney Lucasfilm has given us some of the worst Star Wars under Kathleen Kennedy, and the latest came from Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, Leslie Headland, by way of The Acolyte, a show that turned in the worst audience scores on Rotten Tomato, around 14% of any Star Wars anything ever. In addition to that, it also turned in some of the worst audience viewership, according to places like Nielsen and even Luminate data in tandem with Variety magazine. But there were other projects that were supposed to precede The Acolyte, namely Skeleton Crew, starring Jude Law. That show seemed to disappear and get pushed back. Now we've got some news on when we might see that and what some of the reaction, even from inside Disney itself, has been. Hint, it's not great. And how does this bode for the future of the cinematic entries of Star Wars, namely The Mandalorian and Grogu movie that's due out in just under 2 years from now, which, as it turns out, hasn't even started principal photography yet. Let's get into it. So let's talk about this. I want to do a little Star Wars news here. First off, there was a story out there that I found a little interesting. Let me bring this up. Some of this kind of ties together. If we look right here, we had this from Bespin Bulletin. They posted this on X today. Skeleton Crew, according to John Rocca. I know some people like John Rocca, some people don't like John Rocca. That's fine. This is just me reporting what's going on here. Isn't being received. Skeleton Crew not being received very well at Lucasfilm. This echoes similar statements made by both myself at Bespin Bulletin and at the MakingStarWars.net people. We've been hearing similar things for a long time, certainly since last year. Keep expectations in check. I'm curious out there to see, what do you guys think that means? Skeleton Crew, now according to John Rocca, MakingStarWars.net, and Bespin Bulletin, three sources who have been pretty reputable. I mean, Making Star Wars and Bespin Bulletin, as far as I know, have been pretty much on the money. I mean, these are the guys that had early pictures of the Acolyte soundstage being built and all kind of stuff. And apparently Skeleton Crew, which I remind folks, this is a show that was supposed to come out before the Acolyte. I mean, for like 2 years, it was scheduled. We were supposed to get Skeleton Crew first, followed by the Acolyte in 2024. So, like, we thought we were going to get Skeleton Crew March, April, I guess, and then we would see Acolyte. So they pushed Acolyte to the middle of summer, and supposedly Skeleton Crew, the last I heard, it was supposed to release towards the end of this year, but now I'm wondering. So if this winds up being another really crappy Disney Star Wars show, like, it is just dead flat, and this is the key thing, not fun, and it gets views on Luminate and Nielsen that are similar to the Acolyte, which is to say the worst that there has ever been for Star Wars, this is a real problem. Because Star Wars is desperately trying to gear up towards this Mando and Grogu movie, which is another story I wanted to bring up here. We still haven't started filming yet. Mandalorian and Grogu, and this is from Bespin Bulletin, Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu filmed time-sensitive scenes, but actual principal photography is set to begin in 3 weeks. Now, there was some reporting out there previously that the filming for the Mando and Grogu movie, due out at the end of 2026 or whatever, or summer of 2026, that it was principal photography had begun in June. Well, apparently, to one extent, that was true, and to another, not. According to the Bespin Bulletin and their reporting, and a few other places, June has come and gone with no updates on the starting of filming of the Mando and Grogu movie. Over a week ago, Bespin Bulletin reported principal photography on the Jon Favreau flick had yet to begin, Despite initial plans for an official June start, the delay in filming, absolutely nothing to worry about. Mandalorian and Grogu isn't set to hit theaters for another 22 months. So yes, summer of 26. Lucasfilm have plenty of time to make sure everything's set up. Making Star Wars has offered an update on the situation, and they're saying, after seeing images of the sets being built for Mandalorian and Grogu, which we see some of that here, I believe, okay, is that principal photography has yet to begin. Lucasfilm did film some scenes with a limited cast, apparently. This was back in June, likely due to time sensitivity around certain cast members. Read that as probably Pedro Pascal, because Pedro Pascal himself is probably barely going to be in the film, but for the scenes where they do need him for when the helmet comes off, I guess, for Din Djarin, they filmed his scenes there. But so it looks like they're finally about to start filming some of this stuff. They talked about Pedro Pascal's busy filming schedule for all the different projects that they are, but that makes sense. Matter of fact, the guy, there he is, Brendan Wayne. Din Djarin is played physically by Brendan Wayne. He was actually at the con in Nashville, right next to Gina Carano's table, I believe. So he is actually the Mandalorian in the suit. The only time it's Pedro is when the helmet comes off now. So Brendan Wayne is probably not going to be doing, for the next 4 to 6 months, I guess, not going to be doing any more conventions because he'll be busy in principal photography for the Mandalorian movie. So again, that's what it sounds like. So they are going to actually start filming on this sucker, which is crazy. I can't believe it. I don't think, and this is the problem, getting back to this story here, also from Bespin Bulletin, you know, when we talk about this next show, Skeleton Crew coming out, if this is another dud, there's not a whole lot of energy leading into this Mando movie. The Acolyte, trash. Has nothing to even do with the era. Skeleton Crew, if you believe the stories, looks like it also might be trash. And this is the one with Jude Law. It's like the Goonies in space. This is what it's being billed as. The Goonies in space. I'm just saying. Okay? I love the Goonies. I have a feeling they're going to swing and miss on this one, if I had to guess. But we'll see. So there's not going to be a whole lot of energy with Star Wars coming into this big $200 million plus, God knows how much they're going to spend filming this Mando and Grogu movie, which may itself not be much of any good. And there's still the Rey Skywalker movie that hasn't moved off of, you know, the starting line. Still no script that we know of. Good luck, Disney. Good luck, Kathleen Kennedy. Good luck, Lucasfilm. We're not rooting for you. Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.